Hi, thanks everyone for watching our latest video. It was our hike to Mt Picton, which was located in Southwest National Park Tasmania.
Yeah, this one's a pretty good one. I hadn't actually done this one before, so it was one that's been on the bucket list for a while. It's located sort of near the Tahoon Forest Reserve and the Airwalk, so it's in that general direction. It's 1327 metres high, so it is actually quite a high mountain. And the walk in there is pretty tough. It's all uphill. We did see a couple of parties in there, which was surprising, considering its remoteness. And the actual walk start is a little bit difficult to find, but you need to probably research that a little bit to find out.
Further details of how to get to the starter point of Mt Picton track, I leave it in the description, so check it out when you have time.
Yeah, so the views off there, pretty spectacular. It's pretty close to Hartz Mountain, so that's probably the most predominant mountain that you can see, which lies sort of southeast from the top of Picton. We decided to summit it that night after we'd got in there, which was probably a good idea because I think the next morning the weather was a bit more overcast, a bit cloudy, so I think we got fairly lucky. It's just a pity we never really got that much time on top because we didn't actually get up there until probably, what time was it we got up there, 8 o'clock or something?
By the time we got to the summit, it was 9 p.m. I think, and it just before the sun set behind the horizon, so we got just about 5 or 10 minutes on the summit, and then we have to sort of hurry back to where we camped on that night.
And there's not really any track that leads from where you put the tent up to actually get up on top of the summit. There's no real defined route. And some of the places you need to get up is quite steep and hilly, so a little bit cautious going up there. A lot of rock hopping, and potentially a little bit dangerous on the way back, especially in the dark. By the time we got back to the tent, it was pretty dark, but definitely worthwhile that we'd actually summited it on that same day we got up there. Yeah,
overall the track was I think that's quite challenging to me personally. It took us about 4 hours or 5 hours to get to where we camped, and then probably another hour from there get to the summit. As we just say, we spent between 8 until 9 p.m. to get to the summit, and also as Craig mentioned, it's quite uphill, so that's why we found it's really tiring, even though the actual distance could be quite short in comparison to a lot of other track, but because of elevation is so sharp, it took a lot out of us just to get to the camping point.
Great views from there also, obviously the Eastern Arthurs, the Western Arthurs, you've got the views to Adamson's Peak, Snowy South, Snowy North, Precipitous Bluff, Federation Peak. They're all visible from there. Even New River Lagoon at the foot of Precipitous Bluff is viewable as well. So the views are pretty spectacular.
Definitely one of the recommended location if you haven't been there before. Even though people can actually do that within a day, you can probably start quite early and probably come back there if you do that in summer, but highly recommended if you can actually that's split into 2 days, 1 night at least spend basically where we camp. It probably the most recommended option. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have much time just to take in the view on the top of the summit.
Yeah, it would be a very long day if you were to get up there and back. You'd have to have an early start. The conditions would have to be ideal. We did meet another party there that actually never made the summit. But I think they probably started a little bit later than what you need to if you're going to do it as a day walk. So if it's a day walk, you probably need to be on the track by 8 o'clock, and in summer too, as opposed to winter time when obviously the daylight hours are restricted.
Yeah. And again, be prepared for the weather as well, because as most part of the Southwest Tasmania, the weather could be very, it could change a lot in a very short amount of time. So just make sure that you got everything with you in preparation for the worst weather condition. In terms of camping site, where we camp is very good. The only downside that we don't is really hard to find where it's 100% flat that you can actually put the tent on. So we found a sort of ideal spot, but it's not 100% as many other places that we have camped before. Water is quite everywhere.
Yeah, there's lots of little tarns there to get water out of, and when we were up there it was very windy. So again, as we'd experienced on the southern ranges, we experienced quite heavy winds there. I think by the next morning it had sort of calmed down a fair bit, but it was fairly exposed up there. You are definitely in alpine conditions at that altitude. Yep. So you would be camping at least 1,000 metres, I would say. So yep. Obviously in winter time you'd expect it to be pretty fresh. Summertime when we were up there, it was actually pretty mild, I think, wasn't it?
Even though the wind is quite gusty during the night, it reminds me a lot of the trek that we did to Mt Hartz, which you can actually click on the link to see that hike that we did. We did the Mt Hartz through the Moonlight Ridge, and the weather condition is pretty similar, even though this time we got much better luck.
Yeah, it's a good one. So it's one of those ones that's a bit more obscure. It's not that well known. Most people that head down that way are sort of doing Western Arthurs and those sort of areas. So we're ones that want to go places where there's not that many people, and this is one of those places. So
and we are so happy to actually made it to the summit of the mountain, and then we can tick that off. We made a couple of friends there. It's quite interesting to actually see how you actually met people on the same track and become friends with them.
So it's an absolute winner.
Thanks for watching again, and we will keep delivering to you all the hiking video in the next couple of weeks. And like if you enjoy the video, and leave some comment if there is any question you want to ask us about this particular trail. Thank you.
Bye.